2 to 3 strong qualified leads make it to the team each week, and that's removing all of the leads that are not at the level that I think we would pass on. So certainly higher than 3 to 5 leads are being generated.
Awesome, awesome. Well, hey, Steven, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to hear out about your experience with PowerISA. And the first thing that I would like to ask you, it's about the type of results that you have gotten from your ISA.
The results have been phenomenal. We went through 2 rounds of interviews, and we took our time looking for someone who we felt would match our team, not just in the experience. Definitely, the experience in real estate is its own unique thing. So we needed someone who came with a lot of not necessarily industry background, but just the process of cold calling and someone who had the spirit to push through the challenges we knew we were facing. And we found our candidate in the second round, and so it's now been mm, about a month, a little bit over a month,
Right.
and fantastic. Within the second week, he was already on advanced scripts, so it was really great.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Now, regarding appointments or potential clients, has he bring
Mhm.
anything to the team?
Yeah, we are actually very strict on the type of leads that we will actually pass on from the ISA to the realtors. So, in that regard, I would say at least 2 to 3 strong qualified leads make it to the team each week, and that's removing all of the leads that are not at the level that I think we would pass on. So certainly higher than 3 to 5 leads are being generated from the 1,000 calls per week, because he's averaging at about 100 calls per day to make what we're targeting at about 20 contacts. And out of those 20 contacts, hopefully some of them are actual qualified people that we can help in our business. So with those metrics, he's meeting the metrics already. And we've seen the improvement from last week. It was way better than the week prior, and this week is even better than last week. So it's steady improvement. So we understood that it was going to take time for anybody to take hold of the material and then actually be able to internalize it enough to know what the real target is. So he's right there. It's perfect.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So about three appointments, 2 to 3 qualify leads a week.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Has any of them seemed like a potential client?
Yeah, actually, the ones from last week and this week. So what happens is he's at the tip of the iceberg, right?
Right.
Starting and identifying someone that a agent can then take and nurture from there and really do, because there's a lot more involved with after they're identified as a lead to actually qualify them and see if there's business to be done there. So in that sense, he's doing his part. Then it's on the agents. It's in the agent's hands to go through the rest of the process and close it from there. So that is outside of the ISA's control. But yeah, the ones from last week and this week are actually there is something there with those, and then now the agents are working on them.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, definitely. That's the idea with the ISA, and I'm glad that your team understood that correctly.
Mhm.
The ISA needs to find people that raise their hand that could
Yes.
potentially be a client, and then you can start into the process, right, of nurturing them and showing the value that the team offers, and then eventually, closing deals. So I'm
Yeah,
glad of that.
he's looking for the folks that are at the top of the funnel. We call them the blue gumballs in the ocean of red gumballs.
Right.
So that's what, and he's doing it so well that, like I said, by week 2 he was on advanced scripts with advanced targets. Those are there's multiple lead types, different types of real estate owners. Some are more complex than others, and so he's already on the more complex um, stuff, and then he's on track to actually start taking on some of those second step items that a realtor might do, which will we will obviously, build out an additional compensation plan for all. That's what we would like for RSAs to grow into a deeper role.
Right, right. Like you said, like the second stage, not just the initial contact, but
Right.
the following
Second
phase of it.
stage, and setting up also long-term follow-ups so that the agents don't just forget and lose these leads, because what's happening is at the top of the funnel, we're identifying. So we meet every single day at the end of the day, and go over everything that happened during the day so that they don't just discard certain leads that I can help them identify as someone who would need to be nurtured potentially for a year or more. So they go into a special campaign and bucket that can be followed up with, because it's not a no, it's just not right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, of course. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad all that is working out with Michael. Um, and I also would like to ask you, what do you think of the Power ISA process overall in general?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Obviously, it came to us under high recommendation from our sales coach, but we did interview other ISA companies, and we have several folks who have been on our team for well over 2 years, who we hired just directly through other sources, who are international as well, right? But we knew that for this concerted effort, we really wanted to have a more concierge style experience that was tailored to exactly what we need. And we got that with your company, with PowerISA. So we were very happy with that. Um, there are certainly lots of things that we can do on our own, but then there were plenty of things that your colleagues did for us that just made my life a lot easier as the hiring manager. You know, one thing that I really did enjoy is, oftentimes, because we hire people locally, for different roles, even the realtors and all that, and it's tough when you have to disqualify someone and not hire them. And so one of the processes where your uh, team member, we do the joint interview of multiple people, and it's all set up back to back, and it's controlled in a timely manner, and that your colleague, the team member from Power ISA, is actually doing the asking the questions, or more or less running the interview, relieving me to just observe, and then I can jump in if needed, or if I had any extra questions, or quite frankly, if I already disqualified the person mentally, I didn't have to go through all the discomfort of going through that process. So in that sense, it sped it up a lot. So I really did appreciate that, and as well as the the trainings that happen for the 30 days for the ISA. Not only did I feel that I'm sure they were they're filled with very important and valuable information for the ISA, but um, to me, it helped with our busy lives, and I'm trying to give attention to every single employee and make sure everybody is on track. It helped reinforce to me that Power ISA was also keeping them accountable, knowing that they were going to go into these group settings and more or less, be a part of the onboarding process and not just kind of get complacent in the beginning.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. The interview process, the team from customer service, the customer care, that they really try to make it to where you just need to choose, who you think it's a best fit for you.
Mhm.
They give you different options, and yeah, the 30-day training, it's also to allow the ISA to be incorporated into the team slowly, not just dropping it in there, like, hey, here's your new hire, there you go,
Yeah,
take it away. But it's a slow process that after a month, all the pieces fit in place, right? After the initial 30 days of training, you could really really tell that if the ISA is a good fit, they actually onboarded correctly. So I'm glad. Thank you so much for this testimonial, uh, um, Stephen. And just finally, what would you say to someone that might consider hiring our services?
Um, so number one, if you're thinking of hiring an ISA through an agency, I have nothing but great things to say as far as the support we got from Power ISA. It They delivered on everything that was promised and more, and a lot of transparency and honesty. So that was a key factor. You are paying for a premium service in that someone is actually doing a lot of the legwork in fielding candidates to who might be a good fit. But anybody who's going to hire an ISA, I would definitely say to have your expectations in place, which is they're not going to start day one or week one or two one knowing exactly your team style, your sales style, and quite frankly, your customer style. So um, there is still a lot of expectation, and this is just something that I do with my entire team on in all the different departments. Is you do still have to dedicate time. For me, it's daily, sometimes twice a day or multiple times a day, giving attention to that ISA and answering all their questions and making sure that they're getting the feedback and coaching that they need. It's not just set it and forget it like an automation. So our ISA has access to myself and other team members throughout the day. We use WhatsApp to communicate. So they're asking for the first 2 weeks. It was probably every 20 minutes I would get a message from my ISA, which I encouraged to just ask questions and they didn't want to. They thought they were bothering me. I said, ask as many questions as possible. So I knew that we had to really hold their hand in the beginning to get them comfortable with what they were doing. And then spending time every single day with an agenda to go over what happened during that day, what were the results, and getting feedback from what they were hearing on their calls so that we could tweak and perfect the approach. And it truly is just an ongoing thing because it's a team member.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, and we like to partner up that way, where we assist on the whole hiring and onboarding process, and when the team that's hiring the ISA gets involved, like in your case, that's when we see a lot of success stories, like in your case. So I'm very very glad that everything worked out for you guys.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. We couldn't be happier, honestly. As soon as we have the second need for additional team members, we're going to hire more folks through PowerISA.
Oh, wonderful! I'm glad to hear that. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome, Luis.